Alright, speaking of Hendrix-influenced peoples.
Oh yeah.
This is Pat Travers' band. Now, this is another one that was in my Canada, I don't know why I keep wanting to say that.
Canadian.
My Canada top 10 I did from 1978, not too long ago. I absolutely love this record. This was my #1 pick over Rush in that.
Oh really?
I just like it that much. This was Pat Travers at his heaviest, at his hardest, at his most guitar wankery.
And I know nothing on this one.
Oh, this album is so good. You've got,
I gotta check it out.
You've got instrumental called Hammerhead. I mean, come on, it's just a killer. Heat in the Street is a killer song. Then you've got 2 guitar players. Of course, you've got Pat Travers and Pat Thrall. As well, you've got
who went on to do the Hughes Thrall project
Correct.
with Glenn Hughes.
And then also you have one of the ultimate drummers on here who left Blackfoot to join Pat Travers.
Oh, Tommy Aldridge's on that? I didn't know that.
Tommy Aldridge. Yep.
Not Blackfoot, Black Oak, Arkansas.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did I say Blackfoot?
Yeah.
I meant Black Oak, Arkansas, yeah. And this, I love this record. There's not a song on here I don't like. Killer Instinct has this little, you know how Dio's Rainbow in the Rainbow in the Dark has that little keyboard thing that kind of like, do, and it's kind of like, that song has a little, it's not quite as apparent as Rainbow in the Dark, it's just a little keyboard thing. It's like almost like someone shooting a gun, like an 80s space gun. And it's got this little sound in there. But for some reason, I've always just been totally enthralled by that sound.
Yeah, little things like that, they just make songs.
I was actually playing
imagine Rainbow in the Dark without that keyboard line. It'd be weird.
Right, yeah.
I mean, it'd still be good, but weird.
I was actually driving here from New Mexico to here in Arizona, where we're at now, and I was listening to this album in my car, and I'm telling my wife, listen to that little sound. She goes, yeah, it's annoying. I'm like, that's so loud. I love that.
Yeah, no, that's the thing. That's the thing that totally captured our attention when we were younger.
So anyhow,
little things like that. All right. Oh, I loved this album. I loved this album. And I know you did like a censored version on your '78 one because I previewed it before we did this.
I showed you. I showed the poster.
Some of it.
Oh. I just went. Whoop, whoop.
And there's a picture sleeve too.
Yep.
All right. So yeah, Queen jazz. And if you turn it over, it's like the opposite.
And if you do this, watch. Do this.
Oh, do what?
Watch. Just do this.
Now, it trips you out.
It doesn't. Because of the dots on the screen, you get a moire pattern going on it.
Yeah.
On the video screen.
And inside we got, oh my God, look at Queen's rehearsal studio. It's massive. And they have one of everything. Damn.
You know what's gotta suck?
What?
Doing music for a living.
It's gotta suck. I mean, look at these guys. Jeez. And you know the other things that kind of suck is here's the pictures. And Freddie had finally he was getting away from the long hair thing. The second album in a row. He cut his hair. And
a little shorter each time, yeah.
He's wearing ballet slippers on this one. He's letting it show a little bit more. Mm-hmm. And then we had, I mean, I don't know, there's about 150 women here that did this nude bicycle race as a promo video for the Bicycle Race, the song.
Which caused a bit of an issue for them.
Yes, and I read, totally crass, but I read that the bicycle company that donated the bikes for them to use, all the seats got ruined.
Well, true or not, that's pretty funny.
And one man's ruin is another man's, treasure.
Right. So, but the songs in here. Well, first of all, this is the last album, I believe, for Roy Thomas Baker, who helped define that sound.
Yes, in
the 70s.
This was right before their double live. That was like the end of the era.
And after this, the sound changed. You're never going to hear another Queen like this again.
No, totally different band. And there's some of Queen's most kind of frilly stuff on here, but there's some of Queen's heaviest stuff on here too. Mm-hmm. Let Me Entertain You.
That's I hate to say it, but it almost has a Sabbathy feel to it.
Dun 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 dun. It's awesome. D.T. Seizure used to play that. It was
a great song.
Friggin' hard to play.
And then Mustafa was a bit of a surprise.
Mustafa's great. It's kind of like an Arabic, it almost sounds like Islamic chant or something.
Then there's Fat Bottom Girls Will Be. Yep.
Fat Bottom Girls and Bicycle Race. Two of the big hits on here. Jealousy, very much a Freddie ballady track. But then we got Dead on Time and we got More of That Jazz, which are super heavy. Roger Taylor lead vocals on that one. But Don't Stop Me Now, that was another huge song, another huge hit.
This is a great album.
Yeah, it's a great album.
It's a worthy. It could have. It almost.
I would have put it in top 10.
Almost was in our top 10.
Yeah, I would have put it there for sure.
Yep, almost. And when we get to our top 10, you'll see. I mean, basically, when we do these top 10s, we have to agree, and that's hard when we come from two different places and we all like different things.
Yeah,
so some of the albums that I really liked didn't make it. Some of the ones you didn't really like didn't make it. So
I mean, we got to balance it between one, personal preferences, two, historic significance.
Sure.
And three, well, we just can't make any more outlandish statements so that people won't argue with us.
This next, I'm going to show two albums from this band. This is a U.S. band. This is another one of those kind of poppy, hard rock bands. But the album I'm picking is this one. I'm showing this one because it came out in the same year. Attention Shoppers was the band's second album. Nope. This is their second album, and this was, hey, your first album didn't sell as well as we thought it was. We want you to get some radio hits. We want you to get a softer sound. We want you to go, and that's what you get here.
So it's not writing a little wank.
Terrible. It's not terrible. It's just poppier, and I don't like it as much as they returned on this one to a more heavy sound, like their first album, which was produced by Jack Douglas. Again, Aerosmith producer and many other people.
Yep.
But there was a hit on this album, Cherry Baby, and that song is very poppy.
Awesome handlebar mustache.
Oh, great mustache. Cherry Baby. I mean, a total poppy song. But I just love this. And the first day, one of the coolest logos ever, too, by the way.
Yeah, it is pretty neat. Yep. Not as cool as Angel.
No, Angel's
but close.
Just like Angel and that American pop sound, that's what you're getting here.
Yep.
So this is not heavy metal by any stretch of the imagination. These guys toured on this particular record for 2 years.
Dang, Gina.
Yeah, trying to promote sales, and
it's kind of like Pentagram right now.
It just didn't happen for them. Unfortunately, after a while they disintegrated and they ended up forming other bands. I honestly think if Stars would have stuck it out past the 70s and got into the 80s, they would have been a massive band because they were that sound you heard a lot of those pop metal bands doing. They were already doing it.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing with music, and especially rock and roll. It's a crapshoot. Who's going to make it? I mean, a lot of people don't make it. Period. They just die. You know.
So we're almost down to the bottom. We only have a few more records left.
We are. This is
our top 10.
This is a great one. Definitely the end of an era for this band.
Oh, definitely. And I love this record.
Rainbow, Long Live Rock and Roll.
And I will tell you right now, this was to the very end.
Oh yeah.
In our top 10.
Yeah, this was number 10, and we had to bump it for a good reason, I think.
Yeah.
Real good reason. Of the Rainbow albums that Ronnie James Dio was on, this is probably my least favorite. Just me. I loved Richie Blackmore's Rainbow and Rising.
Rising
so
is my
much.
favorite. Is my first. And
you
I love the
really
live
beat
album
that.
second. This would probably be third for me with the first album, Richie Blackmore's Rainbow being the last. But
yeah, which was basically Elf and Richie Blackmore.
Yeah.
What's on here? The title track was huge. Gates of Babylon.
Gates of Babylon, brilliant song.
Yeah. Kill the King, which was actually on the live one prior to this one coming out. We also got, those are the big ones, really. And again, last one, Ronnie James Dio departed and he went to Black Sabbath.
Yep.
Which is kind of neat. This artwork is
very
like the Heaven
similar
and Hell back cover. We got Cozy Powell on here also.
Of course, he didn't know that. He got kicked out of Rainbow. And he was...
Ronnie did?
Ronnie did.
That's what he says.
That's what he claims. Well, he was true because he didn't have a band. He was like down and out and distraught and didn't... And then was brought into Sabbath thanks to Don Arden, I believe.
The godfather of rock and roll. Cozy Powell's on here. Jeez, I don't think this was not the same lineup as Rising. I don't know.
No, different guys. I don't even know if the bass
player. Who were
player...
the drummer and the keys?
Let me check. This is a case.
Sure.
It's right here. Cozy Powell.
Oh, Bob Daisley was on this.
Bob Daisley was on bass.
All right.
Who replaced... Come on, what's his name?
Oh, it was Jimmy Bain.
Jimmy Bain, exactly. Yeah. Who passed away last year, I believe, right?
And yes, he did. David Stone was a keyboard player. I don't know him. But yeah, really, Ronnie, Cozy, and Richie, they were the triumvirate of Rainbow for sure. But yeah, good stuff. But the end of an era for sure.
For sure, and a great sound. I mean, Richie Blackmore was just
because next Rainbow album was it Difficult to Cure? No. It was the Graham Bonnet one.
Yes, it was.
All Night, Down to Earth, and that was a very short-lived lineup.
Okay, this one we got 3 more to go, and this next one very different from the rest.
Yeah, I didn't get into this album until 1991.
I didn't get into this album until the 90s as well. When I started, actually, the end of the 80s, I started getting into this band. I didn't figure this one out until then.
Yeah.
And when I heard it, I can't say I didn't honestly love it at first, but now I love it.
It was the first one I heard by them, and I liked it. I liked it right off the bat.
We're talking about the Resurrection Band.
Resurrection Band is unique in the Christian music, Christian rock community. very long-lasting band. I mean, they went through several changes, but 78. And Christian rock, was it even a thing in 78?
There was the Jesus rock movement, but
Yeah.
nobody was doing it quite that hard and
Not like
heavy.
them.
Yep.
Not like them. Glenn Kaiser was definitely a special one. This is a band that I will return to because they've got classic sounds and they had a real edge to them.
And they were genuine.
Yeah, very genuine.
You
And
know,
still are. I met Glenn Kaiser. What a nice guy. What a great, just a great guy. It was just one of those moments in my life that was just like, man, that was cool.
He's a guy who lives what he believes.
Yeah, he does.
They live in a place called Japuza, or Jesus People USA.
A commune over in Chicago.
And they house people that are homeless. They feed people. They live what they believe.
And I don't think Rez or Resurrection Band is even together anymore.
No, they're not.
I think Glenn
still does his own blues stuff, but
yeah.
and they get together and do concerts every once in a while and that kind of thing. But yeah, as far as new music, no.
I saw him in
Gatefold cover.
'96. They did on the Lament tour. They did the whole album. Great. It was awesome. Very cool.
Just to give this a bit of perspective, I'm sure you guys watching my channel, you know my buddy Metal Theologian, or Aaron. I sent him this record because I knew he'd like it, and he's very honest.
Yeah.
He'll tell you if he thinks something sucks.
Is bullshit. Or,
yeah.
yeah.
And he gave this, 2 thumbs up, whatever. He didn't.
It's good stuff. This one and the follow-up, Rainbow's End, were very similar.
Yep.
Very classic rock in their orientation and
great
appeal.
record.
Good stuff. Really good stuff.
Very good stuff.
Very well done. All right. Last one for me. There's a couple RIPs on here.
Yes, unfortunately, one of them just recently.
This was the sophomore album by, as you know them, Y&T, but back then they were still called Yesterday and Today. Took their name from the Beatles compilation of the same name. Struck Down's the name of this one. Again, came out in '78. It's hard rock. It's good stuff.
It's not quite the metal or the 80s style metal they were doing.
No. Definitely not. I mean,
definitely a 70s sound.
Yeah, Earthshaker was the one after this, and that was when they really started.
That was an updated sound for them, for sure.
Very much so. The first 2 albums, the self-titled Yesterday and Today and this one, they're both on the London label, which they changed record companies too. They went to A&M after this. These didn't do that well. So, and I remember when I was first getting into Y&T, I heard about these. They were really hard to find back then.
They were hard.
Early '80s, you can find this.
They're still hard to find those. Yeah.
So good stuff, and we get a couple RIPs. Leonard Hayes just died like a couple months ago.
Yep.
Great drummer from the Bonham School for sure, and I don't say that about too many. And Phil Kennemore, he died a few years ago, bass player. So Joey Alves, nobody knows. I don't know where he went. The other guitar player, he's still around, I'm sure, but
Dave McKinney.
Yeah, Dave McKinney's still keeping
alive. Doing it.
Just saw him last year, and he was kicking ass just like he always did.
Yep.
Great stuff. Great band, and the first 2 albums definitely a different flavor.
I just always felt that they were an underrated band. They should have been bigger.
Very much. I mean, they were huge in the Bay Area.
Yeah.
Them and another band called Violation were the big bands in San Francisco before Metallica came and changed everything.
And it just never really happened. I mean, not that they were underground band. They had their hits, but they just never got to the they never got to the Van Halen level, which I always felt they could have.
But they did have some pretty big tours in the '80s. They supported some people that it was pretty cool.
Guys, this is the last one before we get into our top 10. This is actually
kind of a weird one.
Kind of a weird one because it's not. Well, this is not even the proper name of the album. It was re-released under this name.
Yeah.
This is Crocus Paint Metal.
I love this cover because it's so damn goofy.
And I like this cover too. I like them both.
The album was originally called Painkiller.
Painkiller. Had a totally different cover. Had 2 kids on there making funny faces with their mouths cut out. And kind of a morbid looking cover.
These were kind of reissues after the fact.
Yep. These were reissued after Crocus started releasing hardware and
One Vice at a Time.
One Vice at a Time.
They came out trying to capitalize on it. This was not Mark Storacci on vocals.
This is for Mark, exactly. Yeah. So you've got what's his name? The guitar player was doing the singing in.
Fernando Von Arp and Chris Von Rohr.
And I remember specifically
Tommy Kiefer, the drummer.
Specifically reading the Heavy Metal Collector's Guide, Martin Popoff's book, and he's like, "Yeah, this wasn't Von Arp is singing." He goes, "Von Arp is still singing, and annoyingly so."
Yeah. This was their what? Third album.
Third album.
Yeah, and the first 2 were even less.
Yeah, very 70s proggy almost.
Yeah, a bit more proggy. I have them on disc. I can't say that they're off. I don't spin them often, but they're definitely Curiosity is kind of cool. Nothing like the Crocus, from the '80s though.
Nope.
Nothing.
But it's not a bad album. I mean, we're sitting there trashing it, but we're not really trashing. We're just
it's
trying to make a difference, distinguish it.
It's an oddball. I mean, they put them back out to see if they could capitalize on the later success of the band, and maybe they did. I don't know.
Well, I bought it.
I did too. I have two. I have a couple copies.
So, all right, so that's it. That's I don't know whatever many that is, but we're gonna come back.
Are we taking a break? Or
we're taking a break, and we're gonna come back, and we're gonna do the top 10. So that's it. Hope you enjoyed it. Thumbs up if you liked it. Do check out Randy's store, Stone Groove Records.
Yeah, stonegrooverecords.net, and that'll get you to everything that I do. It gets you to the radio show, Stone Grooves and Deep Cuts. It gets you to the merchandise store, Stone Groove Merch. All kinds of stuff, and we've got like 36 bands on the roster now. All kinds of stuff. A little for something, everybody, as I said before.
Yep. And I'll put a link below. So hope you liked it. Thumbs up if you liked it. Subscribe if you haven't already. And that's it.
God
bless. Stay strong.
Ice cream. I didn't know we were taking a break. I thought we were just going straight through.